My name is Eunice Sim, and I'm 19 years old. I'm originally from the Bay Area in California, and I currently live at the University of Minnesota. I came to the States when I was approximately 2.5 years old. We came here from Cheongju, South Korea, and we immigrated to the States because we wanted to have a better opportunity in education and finding a job too, and we just wanted to look for something better in America. I was fairly young when we immigrated to America, so I don't exactly have a preconditioned image of America and what it was going to be like, but I just knew that we were moving somewhere. We mainly speak Korean at home, but we do also speak English from time to time when it's easier, especially between me and my parents and me and my siblings. As for my siblings, I have two brothers, one older and one younger. My older brother, he was also born in Korea, but my younger brother was born in Los Gatos, California. He's the only person in our family who has been born in America. I lived in California, and where I was from, we have a lot of immigrants from the Asian continent, India, China, Korea, and we have a lot of different people coming into the Bay Area, especially because of the Silicon Valley, where we get a lot of jobs and a lot of technological companies like Apple, Google, Yahoo, Adobe, and a lot of those companies where they attract a lot of immigrant workers to my area. However, the main school that I went to, which is in Los Gatos, that town is predominantly white, and that is where I grew up in and where I spent a lot of my childhood and adolescence in. I don't think my identity has exactly been completely Americanized. I sort of keep a balance between two cultures, one that I have growing up in America and growing up in a predominantly white community. I also have close ties with my home country, South Korea, with a specific community that I have grew up with for a long time living here in America, and they also share the same culture as I do as South Koreans, and even though I speak English like a lot and I have a lot of really close friends who are Americans, I also have a lot of close connections as the South Korean culture. I don't think living in America has been that difficult, especially since there are a lot of in the Bay Area, we have a lot of different cultures coming in and out. We have a lot of different people, especially immigrants. But growing up in Los Gatos has not been, it's not exactly the traditional homogenous white community as like most people would think. Yeah, we do live in a bubble. We still are sort of, they are still somewhat like in a sort of shield of ignorance, if I can describe it like that. But we get a lot of different people and different cultures from Europe, from Asia, from Africa. So we get a lot of different people. So growing up as sort of different nationality-wise has not been like a huge struggle in my life. Regarding the immigration debates that's been happening in the presidential election and current forums, it has impacted me personally because what they're talking about is people who are immigrants just like me and who share sort of the same struggles and sort of the same, even the like differences that they have, and so in some ways I'm sort of like bothered by how many people have supported people like Donald Trump and supported people like Ted Cruz, who don't seem to quite understand what it means to be an immigrant and what happens when they say stuff like that, when they say poisonous words like building a wall or tracking them down through a database. Like they don't. I just feel like they're just so ignorant that it just can't be helped. Like they just need to be educated. They just need to know that we're the same as they are. That we're the same. We're the same organism. We're the same people. I'm an American too. That I deserve to have a place here, and that people who want to live here should be granted that sort of permission to stay here, and we shouldn't take that away. This is the land of the free. Why take away that sort of liberty from people? And regarding like Donald Trump and people who are supporting him, it sort of made me realize how big of the issue is, considering like how big racism is in this country, and it really made me realize how much hatred there is for difference, and I just don't understand why there should. I just don't understand why people are so against differences. That I understand like psychologically and sort of like socially why they're like against racism, but when you like when I look at other people, like I don't see them any differently than the way I look at myself, you know? I'm a person, I guess, and they're a person too, and I just sort of pity them in a way, that sympathize them, that they don't have the same background as I do, that they can't speak 2 languages or 3. They don't know what it means to appreciate living under a bilingual roof, living in 2 different countries before. It's just sad that they can't appreciate they just can't appreciate diversity as much as I do, especially where I come from, from California. And recently I watched the UK parliamentary debate on whether to not ban Donald Trump, and I at least want to have one country to be a safe place for me, so I'm hoping that they would be able to get through with that. Just saying. And I just hope people will open their eyes soon and see what a great thing that they have here in America, where there are different types of people coming in and out. There are different types of cultures around them. They just need to discover it. What America means to me is what it probably means to a lot of people. It's home. It's where I come from. It's where I grew up, and it's a place that I actually appreciate. I don't think that browning of America really sort of affects what America is. And because when you look at like, for example, what made America I tend to think about like the Constitution. It's not going to change because there are different cultures. And what our forefathers wanted was a place for freedom, was a place for um, where people can live together in peace, whether different religion, whether different um, races and nationalities can come together in one place and live in harmony. And that we're making that sort of dream come true. That's what is happening, and I don't think that takes away. Um, I don't think having all these different cultures takes away what America is. It's making what America is. We are not changing it. We are um, based on the foundations of what we've been given from the very beginning of America's history. We've been building up on that, and this is sort of what we're making. My culture, in relation to my time at the University of Minnesota, are I've tried to not exactly kept it alive, but sort of reinforce it in a way where I can apply the knowledge that I have regarding like immigration issues, immigration debates, and things that are happening around the world and things that are happening in my community. And I've sort of like collected all of that and sort of like applied it to various things such as being Model United Nations, where we talk about human rights. We are taking human rights and sort of discussing it on a sort of in a huge debate between different countries that we sort of model for. And I see my country being represented like many other states or many other sovereign states, and immigration is something that comes up very, very often in our club. And so I sort of kept sort of went on further with immigration debates and sort of participated in something that at the University of Minnesota, where I can freely talk about what is going on and how it affects me personally, and what it means. And I've also taken an internship with United Nations Association of Minnesota, where we see a lot of kids who are actual refugees, who are asylum seekers. And I have coworkers who are also refugees and who are fleeing from places that have internal conflict. And it's really made me feel like that I'm not sort of alone here, that there are like a lot of people who really value diversity and who really are also bothered, like I am, with what is being said about immigrants like Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, and people who aren't as educated as we are.